Ron Van Dam is nothing more than a figment of your imagination. Your dark, twisted, apparently very, very grumpy imagination. You should probably get some help. You're listening to The Ron Van Dam Show on New England Broadcasting.
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
How are you? What are you doing?
Hold on tight. Things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
Hey, welcome to the program. It is the Ron Van Dam Show. If I were in a police lineup, I'd be the one all the way to the left. Just saying. What are you doing here? What made you come here today? Did you have nothing else to do? Huh? Answer me. This is how I start a conversation. How are you? Oh my God. Oh my God. How are you? Oh my God. So good to see you. Oh God. My day wouldn't be complete without having you listen to me. I mean, what would I do if you weren't there for me to talk to? This is like a therapy session, but I don't know who it's for. That's the problem. Anyway, I have an interesting program for you today, so sit down and shut up, and I will start at this moment. At this juncture in my life, I shall entertain you and inform you and do all the things necessary to you to make you a more complete person. When I was a child, my parents sent me to summer sleepaway camp. Oh no, why did you do that? Why did you do that? I know why. They basically told me, they said, we're sending you to summer camp for the whole summer because we need a break. We need to just have our lives for 2 months. And raising, I had a brother, raising the two of you for 10 months a year is enough. So we're sending you away. We're shipping you out. So that's what happened. When school was over, about a week later, they'd be packing my summer trunk. It was a large suitcase. They call it a trunk. And they put all the stuff in there that I would need for 2 months to survive with other kids. It was a sentence in hell. It was like I didn't do anything wrong, but you've been sentenced to being with strange, stupid children for 2 months at a location that we don't know where it is, but it's far away from us. Actually, my parents were quite loving people. They thought that sending me to a sleepaway camp was a good idea, but it wasn't. It wasn't a good idea. I was catapulted into a fictitious world of crap is what it was. All these camps, they weren't to develop the child. They were to give the parents a 2-month break. Who are you trying to kid? It's like public school. It's the same concept. We're sending our children to school so that they can learn. No, you're not. You're sending the kids to school so you can have 8 hours on a weekday to do other stuff. It's your break. It's public babysitting is what it is. Ron, did you say that out loud? I think I did. You're not supposed to say that stuff. But it's true. It's public babysitting. Look, I know we pay our taxes. This is what you get. Public babysitting for maybe 6 hours on a weekday. It gives you the opportunity to go out and have a job or to sit on your ass and drink alcohol. One or the other. Doesn't matter. It's a break from the having to watch and entertain and do the things with the kids. doesn't let you off the hook. As soon as the kids are out of school, it's to the soccer field. So it's always something. So I get it. Yeah, public school is babysitting service. Come on, who are we trying to kid? It's a good babysitting service because not only do they watch your children for 6 hours on a weekday, but they also try to teach them things that are futile and make no difference, but still they put the effort in. They teach your child how to socialize with other children, and they teach your child to listen to instructions because at home they don't. Because kids don't learn from their parents. They learn from their peers and teachers and the social school environment. That's the service that they provide. But in the long run, what they're doing is babysitting your kids. And you need to thank them. And that's why we say, teachers are the most respected people in the world because they are teachers. Yes, they are. They are also volume babysitters. And that's not easy to do. If you decided to go into a career of teaching, you thought that you were going to shape the minds of the youth. Well, maybe. Your primary function is to babysit these bastards, I'm sorry to say that, for a period of time on a weekday. It's true. It's true. Here's my impression of a teacher in front of a classroom. Kids, 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 kids. That's my impression of a teacher. You thought that the teacher goes, and back in 1723, King Louis XVII ordered his court of appeal to go to the Crusades, and that's how we get Jell-O. You think that's not what a teacher here? No, a teacher. Kids, 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 kids. That's what the teacher does, and that's why they're to be respected, because they're babysitting your kids. So when school wasn't going on for me, my parents shipped me away to a summer camp, and in retrospect, I don't know where this camp was, and I don't think my parents knew where it was. I think one day a bus came by the house right after the July 4th holiday and picked me up. They put me in the bus, and they weren't too sure where the bus was going themselves. They paid the invoice for the summer camp for the 2 months and all that stuff, but I don't think they kind of knew where the camp was, nor did they care. For me, the camp was in upstate New York, and that's all I know. I was put onto a bus, blindfolded. My trunk went underneath in the bus baggage area, and beyond that, that's all I remember, and that's all my parents cared about. And I ended up at a place at a undisclosed location where I spent 2 months with other children who were similarly blindfolded. And the other thing that we had in common, besides the blindfolds, was the fact that we were all shipped away. Hey, your parents shipped you away for 2 months? Yes, they did. Me too. And there was the community. Were there things to do at summer camp? Sure. There was boating and canoeing and swimming in a lake. And there was archery and baseball and basketball and tennis. It was a freaking country club, but not. Because at 6 o'clock in the morning, some schmuck, some camper, would get on a loudspeaker that boomed across all of the summer camp territory, and he took his little bugle trumpet thing and blew revelry at 6 o'clock in the morning. Revelry was not the name of one of the campers. It was some type of little song that they play in the army or something, in the military, to wake you up at 6 o'clock in the morning. Why in summer camp I had to get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, I don't know. Was this like a boot camp for the military? It sounded like it, because we got up at 6 o'clock in the morning and we got ready, got dressed, whatever that was, and then we had to clean the cabin. We stayed in a cabin. There were about 10 of us in a cabin. And this is before anybody thought they were gay or not. I mean, and we had to make our beds, and the camp counselor would have to make sure our beds were made properly. They taught us how to make beds. This is like military boot camp, but it wasn't. And then we all had duties. Someone would sweep, the other would dust, and the other would clean the toilets. And it was like military training. And the other guy would take a rake and rake around the cabin. And then we went to the mess hall. What? Isn't that a dining room area? They called it the mess hall. That's a military thing. I know. And we sat at a table with they called them bunks. We were in bunks. And we sat at the table with the same kids, and then there were a lot of other kids from other cabins that would be eaten too. The food sucked. But we did that at least twice a day. And the camp counselor would tell us, all right, now we're going to volleyball. Now we're going to tennis. Now we're going to go swimming. Wow, this is too regimented for me. That's not the life that I was leading at home. My parents sent me away to summer camp for about 3 years straight. And as soon as I got home, I wanted some time just to sit around my house. But no, a couple of days later, it was time for school to start again. Or as I call it, public babysitting. And that was my childhood. Was it horrible? The summer thing, yeah, it was. Otherwise, it was wonderful. But when my parents decided to ship me away for the summer for 3 years, not 3 years, every 3 years. That was horrible. That was horrible. And that, since I was a child, I realized that human beings, especially children, are intolerable. They're intolerable little things. There's something wrong with every single child because they're in development and something's going wrong continually with every single child. And then when I went to summer camp, my opinion of other children tripled in the downward dog. So what did I learn from going to summer camp and from being a child? That people have the ability to suck really badly. And they've proved it to me on a daily basis throughout my life. But I don't care. And that's how you handle that. Because you got to realize, not only do people suck, kind of. Not all of them. Not you. Oh, God, not you. And not your family. Oh, God, no, not them. No, the strangers, they all suck. There's something wrong with all of them. Some of them are very nice, but I know better. Behind closed doors, they suck as well. Do I suck behind closed doors? Probably. But so what? So do you. But children, uncontrollable sucking going on there. They're trying to feel their ability to build their egos or something. I don't know. It seems like children, either there's so few children that are really, really well balanced. Very few. Very few. Very few. And even if you're a parent and you think your child is well balanced, which could be the case, all the rest of them are not. Children are either like out of control or so shy and sheepish that they get like really rattled by the smallest things. They have fits and panic attacks. We all do that as adults as well, or adults, whatever. But it seems to be an extreme. Either they're too sensitive or they have no sensitivity whatsoever. Well balanced in the middle, hard to find, very hard to find. And when you get older and you act like really stupid, or you do like really dumb stuff, or you're too sensitive, or you have anxiety attacks, or you're egotistical, like through the roof, like Trump, that kind of thing, what do you say to them? You're acting like a child. There's your clue. That's how we categorize adults that are not well balanced. You're acting like a child. What does that say about children? Not much. How do you... See, you insult an adult and the way that they're acting by saying, hey, you're acting like a child. That's an insult. To a child, when they're acting well balanced, you say, you're acting like an adult. Very impressive at your age to act like an adult. That's a compliment. But then you become an adult and you're acting like a child. It's very, very confusing. No one understands it, and nobody should. Because there's nothing to understand. As an adult, you're acting like a child. As a child, you're acting like an adult. You can't win. You could even, as a child, be told by your parents, you're very impressive, you're acting like an adult. And then become an adult and have people say to you, hey, you're acting like a child. That can happen to one person. And that will confuse the hell out of them. So what do people do because they're so confused about who they are and how they're acting? They turn to religion. Because religion supposedly keeps you in tune. But it doesn't. It does while you're in the church or in the synagogue or whatever, the temple of whatever. While you're in there, yeah, I guess so. As soon as you step out of the door, you're the biggest asshole all over again. It's what we do. It's what we do. So what keeps us in line? Nothing. Nothing keeps us in line. All right. However, as I said on yesterday's show, we use comedy to muddle through this thing called life, which can be extraordinary. Here's what I wish for you. When you get older, as I'm getting really close to that part, as you're getting older and you look back on your life, how was it? And if you say, it was a bitch, it was rough, then okay, I mean, you were handed a deck of cards and that's kind of where you were. But if you look back at your life and you say, ooh, it was pretty cool. I had a pretty good life. That's it, man. That's your goal. That's your goal. There's nothing else to say. Were you happy in life? Not all the time, but for the most part, yeah, it was good. That's your goal. It's not the money. It's not the job. It's not how successful you were with other people, other human beings. It's not how the world was peaceful or not. It's not that. How was your life? It was good. It's a good life. That's your goal. Okay, let's get out of the dark here and let's go to our guest who will join us momentarily. But before we do that, someone's got to pay for this, and apparently you have not made the effort yourself. So we're going to do this.
Let's be honest. You are socially awkward. You've no idea how to start a polite conversation. You wouldn't know what to do or say if you stumbled into one. And when it comes to talking with members of the opposite sex, you're like a 6th grade wallflower at the school dance. You need help, and you know it. You need me, Thompson St. Thomas, fancy bastard. For a courteous, prearranged fee, I am now offering wingman services for both men and women. Even if you've got the vocabulary range of a brain-damaged gibbon, with me at your side explaining to people what you rarely meant to say, every drool-drenched bit of drivel that slobbers out of your scone hole will sound witty, erudite, and confident. And ladies, don't be shy. Take my arm and we'll go chat with the gent across the room with whom you've been exchanging glances all evening. Don't worry, he won't be intimidated by my extraordinary good looks. I guarantee he will only see me as your good British friend who happens to be incredibly gay. It's a service only I can provide, because I am Thompson St. Thomas, fancy bastard. So do let me know where we'll be going next, you and I.
Dr. Karissa Thal joins us, and Courtney Clark is a patient and will explain what of. Thanks for being with us today.
Thank you for having us, Ron.
Well, we're talking about something that is prevalent medically, but we don't talk about it all that much, and that's migraine headaches, which are, if you've ever had one, it's pretty horrible. How prevalent is it? How many people suffer from this?
Ron, about 1 out of every 10 adolescents and adults are stricken with migraine.
Wow. So this happens to adolescents as well. We usually think of it as adults when we see television commercials, but children too?
Absolutely.
And how does this manifest itself? Is it genetic? Is it what's actually happening when one has a migraine?
Sure. So migraine is a genetic disease that often gets passed down from parents to their children.
Oh.
And during a migraine attack, what a patient will often report is a pounding, moderate to severe headache. Mm-hmm. It can last anywhere from a half a day to several days in duration. Generally, the patient reports being bothered by light or loud noises or sounds, and they often get nauseated or sick to their stomach.
Mm-hmm. Doctor, what actually causes this? What's going on that causes this?
That's actually an excellent question, Ron. I would say what causes a migraine is an oversensitivity in a patient's nervous system.
Okay. All right. Okay, which happens to manifest in the head. Does that happen in other places of the body as well, or is this a head thing?
It's definitely a head thing. However, patients are sensitive in more than the nerves of their head. For example, they get light sensitive, they get sound sensitive. Okay. The patient will become overly sensitive to aromas, for instance.
Okay. Now, Courtney's here. She's a patient. Courtney, tell me how your story. When did this happen for you?
Yeah, sure. Thanks. So I was the first time I experienced a migraine attack was at 7 years old.
Oh.
And it's been about 11 years since then. Mm-hmm. And it's difficult to manage. For example, in 2023, I lost 375 hours to chronic migraine. Wow. Whether that's through missed classes, having to stay home because I'm bedridden with an attack, or having to go to the ER because my attack is lasting for 6-7 days. Wow. And medication won't work to stop it.
Right. So there have through the years been medications that are usually not effective, but I hope there's good news to this. I believe there is, Doctor, and that is something technologically amazing is starting to come through, I understand.
That's right. There's a device that's cleared by the FDA called the Nerivio Ren wearable that's used to treat both migraine attacks on an as-needed basis as well as regularly to try to prevent them altogether.
Wow. And this does not involve drugs at all?
That's correct. It's a drug-free, non-medicinal treatment option.
Wow. How is it worn, implanted? How does that work?
Yeah, great question. So the Nerivio Ren wearable wraps around the upper arm.
Yeah.
It sends a signal upstream to the brain, and that signal allows the brain to then combat the migraine attack.
Wow, so it's totally non-invasive.
That's correct.
Oh, this is cool.
Very clever.
Yeah, I would say so. How long has this been available? Is it still in test stages?
Oh no, it's been available for several years.
Oh,
It's FDA cleared for both use in children ages 12 and up, adolescents and adults for both treating acute migraine attacks as well as if worn every other day for prevention.
wow. Okay. Well, that's good news. Courtney, we heard about what you've been going through as an adolescent. Is there good news as far as what's happening now?
Yeah, well, so Narivia opens up a lot of options for me. Whereas, like, I would have to take medication when I'm at school and I'm starting to have a migraine attack.
Right.
And then I'll be drowsy for the whole day or disoriented. And I'm in calculus and I can't keep my eyes open, which is a nightmare situation.
Well, I couldn't do that
now,
either. That in calculus, I didn't keep my eyes open either. All right, go on.
Yeah, it's tough. But now with Narivio, I can just put it on and back to class, and
yeah,
that's about that. And the attack is usually gone within the hour.
Wow. How long have you been? Has this been available to you?
I've known about Narivio for, I'd say, a year and a half to 2 years, and I had my neurologist put in the prescription for me. It was really a great process, but managing cost and everything, and with a lack of insurance coverage, it was a little difficult.
Yeah, is it covered by insurance now?
Well, my insurance provider, unfortunately, does not cover Nervio.
Got to change it. You got to change your insurance provider, I guess. I don't know. That's not right. Anyway.
Correct, Ron.
Yeah.
Most insurance companies, unfortunately, have not come on board just yet to cover this device.
Oh, my God.
Although we're very optimistic that they will begin to.
I'd like to do something about that. I mean, how can the public put pressure on insurance companies to cover this? My God, this is like important.
Excellent question. So I think patients can play a role in this by asking their doctors to prescribe it for them. If the prescription ends up being denied or refuted by the insurance, they can then submit appeals to the insurance company.
Yeah.
For example.
I mean, as a member of the public, I'm actually pissed that they don't cover this. I mean, I can't believe that. Okay, go on, Courtney.
Yeah, no, I would add to that and say that awareness is one of the biggest parts. If I could have anyone listening take away any message, I'd say learn about it and learn about your options, because you can't really take advantage of something if you don't know it exists. So raising awareness about the Nervio Ren wearable will really diversify a lot of patients' treatment options.
Yeah, as soon as that becomes more mainstream is what you're saying.
Yep.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, I didn't know about it, and I'm sure if I didn't know, because I kind of know about everything, then I know about it. So this is good, and I'm glad that this came to our attention. And if there are advocates out there who want to do something about it, you know where to contact. Go ahead and do so. Okay. Well, I'm glad that this is available. How long has it been FDA approved, Doctor?
Just several years.
Okay. Very good. All right. I like happy endings, so let's make that happen. Sounds like it is happening. Where do we go for more information?
So, Ron, both patients and healthcare providers can get more information by going to Narivio.com. In the upper right-hand corner of the screen, you would click Get Narivio, and they're actually able to download prescription forms to be able to get these devices.
Can you spell Narivio for us, please?
Nerivio.
Excellent. Well, Dr. Thal, thank you so much for the information. And Courtney, thanks for helping us all out so that we can do the same for you. I appreciate it. And great talking to you both. Well, Well, that'll do it for me today. I'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new program. But until that time arrives, I wish you peace.